Yes, I am blind, but I can still see. I can see the first snowflakes gently floating down and down, greeting the virgin earth as they meet the ground. Along the way, ever so softly, they touch my head, my nose, and chin, a fresh blanket of white to coat my yard, as if to safely tuck us all in. I can see the telltale signs of a very welcome spring sprouting all around. The smell of raindrops kissing the earthworms picking up out of the ground, the red robins and the bluebirds flying and singing ever so sweet, gathering food and fodder for their newborn babies so they too can eat. I can see the flittering from flower to flower to take advantage of a surprise summer shower, reassuring me that we can live in perfect harmony. I can see the bright display of the budding flowers and the fresh sprouts of grass, the vivid hues of the eggplant, the tomato, and the asparagus. I can see the leaves of autumn changing colors and quietly falling down to the ground, the crunchy footing beneath me, the crisp, cool air, the signs of a winter soon to be are all around us. Yes, I am blind, but I can still see. So, open your hearts and your minds and listen to all the sounds. Smell the smells and follow the rainbows that do abound, and you too can see what I can see.
Yes, my name is Betty Avedanian Eldridge. Avedanian is my maiden name, which is an Armenian name. I'm second generation here in this country, and I grew up in Stoneham, Massachusetts, one of my favorite towns, and now I'm living in Townsend, which is another one of my favorite towns. First of all, my love of horses was my inspiration since I was 2 years old. I painted with watercolors, and uh, I always wanted a horse, so I saved up every cent I ever made with birthdays and Christmases into my little private little bank account. And then my father promised me that if I went to college, he'd buy me a horse. Well, I went to college and I graduated from Massachusetts College of Art in Boston. And I went home because they were having a big celebration. And I was looking for my horse. And instead, my father gave me an envelope and he said, "I'm sorry, but the upkeep of the horse is a little bit too expensive. So, I just gave you some money." I didn't want to show him my slight depression because he did everything for me, he and my mother. So I had a really good life. So I just figured, well, someday I'll get it anyway. And the horse has been my inspiration. Here at my farm, we raised Arabian horses for many years until the dreaded day when I started to lose my eyesight. And I had to disband with the horses, but I found other ways to paint rather than how I used to. There's always another way to create, and I found that way through my iPad. So I'm very grateful for the inventors of iPad and all the Apple products, because now I could use my finger and I could see backlit items like an iPad or an iPhone, and I had a nice program on there, and I would use my finger as I did on that painting of "Yes, I am blind, yet I still can see." It was all done on my iPad with my finger as a brush.
That is amazing. That's amazing. And now, so because someone did ask me, my girlfriend asked, how can she paint when she's legally blind? And I couldn't explain it to her. I just said she's just gifted. Okay. So then that brings me to a question that I had that you told me earlier about how when you couldn't see at all, at one point, you felt a touch and you were thinking of your mother or that you drew your mother without seeing what you were doing. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yes, I was my both eyes hemorrhaged a few years ago, and I went through a depression. I have to admit it, and I'm sitting there having a little pity party for myself on the couch. My husband had just passed away, and I had the iPad in my hand, and I turned it on, but I really couldn't see anything at that time. But I felt the touch of a hand on top of my hand, and I could feel the touch of another hand on top of me. and this was around 2 o'clock in the morning. And several months later, when I gained a little bit of eyesight back in my right eye, I turned on my iPad and I went to my little program called Art Studio to see what actually happened that day. And to my amazement, the painting that was on there was an angel. The angel was my mother. And as I'm speaking, the chill still goes up my back every time I think about that. She was with me, and she actually made me that painting through me with her hand on my hand.
That is truly amazing. What did you feel when you were able to see better and you saw what you had painted?
The same feeling I get now as I'm talking. A chill is going up my spine again. And I don't question miracles anymore. I've had several in my life, and this was another one, thank God. And He is with me all the time.
That is beautiful. So that's why I believe that your painting, your art is divinely motivated.
It is. And so isn't my poetry, if you read any of my poetry.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So what motivates you, what drives you to want to paint, to want to share your paintings? What are you hoping to awaken or inspire within other people with your art?
Well, I have a page on Facebook, and I only put things on there that I think will help others. My poetry, my writing, and my paintings. And every one of the people that follow me just thank me so much. And especially in our age group now, our future is probably limited, and it gives people hope. I like to give people hope. I always tend to put spirit into whatever I do. It's one thing to copy a photo, but it's another thing to search the soul of what I'm painting and express it that way.
So would you say then that when you see something, you add spirit, and do you feel that when you're adding something, are you spiritually divine?
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
That's why my art has grown much better since I've lost my sight than it was when I could see. Because when you see, it's just like you take everything for advantage, and when you can't, you have to see things through your heart and your soul.
So when you are painting, you are letting out what you feel inside.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Can you put into a sentence or two for me a message to, let's say, a senior person who is at home, who is homebound, who cannot do the things that they used to do before, and they feel they have something inside, but they don't know how to bring it out? What would you say to motivate them to follow their passion like you do?
Like I said, everybody has been given a gift. God has given everybody the gift of life and then a gift inside of you. You have to find that gift and then use it to your best ability, whether it's cooking, whether it's knitting, crocheting, playing with your grandchildren. You just have to look forward, not backwards. You have to look to the future. You can learn from the past, but don't be stable or stuck in the past. You have to always have something that you can contribute to society that will help you and everybody else around you, and keep a positive attitude. I just want you all to remember also that we each have that gift, as I said before, but if you have a disability, you have the power to turn that into an ability, and that will get you through anything in life. Nothing should prevent you from doing something that you want to do. For the future, who knows? But I don't worry about that, because God's been providing me with things when I didn't think I could afford anything. He sent me messages, He sent people, and He gave me Raphael, for example. Raphael's in my life right now, and that's a God-sent thing for me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I love it. Thank you so much. And how can somebody contact you?
Well, they can reach me on Facebook under Bette, Bette, Avadanian, that's spelled Avadanian, Eldridge, Eldredge. That should be the only one on Facebook, and that's where I present all my art. and my writings. And hopefully you too will be inspired as my friends are.
Excellent. God bless you. Thank you so much. We are off the air.
Hey.